I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Toronto. Unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse death, and I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
Earlier in the season, but it was amazing last time around. Congratulations on that. And tell us a little bit about the plans for this week.
Yeah, it was exciting. We started off, we kept the expectations low, and then we came in strong the last week, the last leg. You know, I think we have a new team this week. We have Carly coming on and Hillary, so I think we're all just trying to keep the consistency and put in good scores and just take it step by step.
So, of course, as Vanessa was just saying, first time on the team for you this week. How much are you looking forward to that?
I'm very excited. My mare really likes this facility, so I think we're going to put a good round in for the team.
And how does it feel for you to be able to ride on a team with, some teammates, some people that perhaps maybe, you both looked up to in the past as well?
It's very exciting. I used to be part of a Lawnfurter stable, so I'm quite familiar with them. And then to be with Kent's team, it's quite exciting. So.
And of course, we're talking about the way that the season is shaping up. Team Helios have been really consistent, Spyco Spies. But do you think Team Logano might get more consistent from this point?
I hope so. I mean, I think it's a tough format. That's why you see a little bit variation from week to week, because every rider has to put in a good score or else you're out. And so I think we're getting used to the format now, and our team is coming together. And so, I think this week is just about giving everybody a shot to kind of get that experience. And I think the more we do it, I think the better we'll get.
Well, finally, tell us about the horse that you're riding this week, Carla.
Her name's Elite Chin. She's a 12-year-old bay mare. I've had her for about 2.5 years. I have a pretty good relationship with her. Yeah.
And you say you think she likes this facility, she likes the ring?
Yeah. I've shown here for the last 2 years, I guess, with her, and she's always been in top form here.
Well, fantastic. And Vanessa, who are you riding this week?
I'm going to ride Cascaleretto. He's been my trusty horse for these events, and he's a 10-year-old gelding, and we've been together for almost 2 years now, so I find I can rely on him. Usually, if there's an issue, it's from the rider, but yeah, he's going to come out again this week.
Well, fantastic. Best of luck to both of you this week, and we hope to see Team Logano climbing the rankings a little bit more.
There are 8 teams competing in round 1, and the order is decided by a draw. The ideal position, pole position, is to go last. There are 3 riders per team in round 1. Every round of the 3 riders counts towards the team total, in this case faults and time, and a combined score of all 3 for the final team score. The rankings are decided by faults first and foremost. If you drop below the cut line, you're out. Stay above the cut line and you're on to round 2 as part of the top 4. 4 in, 4 out. It's this simple for round 1. Go fast, no rails, stay above the cut line, and you're into round 2. Well, coming up for a big day again here, three-team competitions for Major League show jumping. $200,000 in the prize fund as
those who
make
it above the cut line for the top
and again,
four,
it is in for an exciting one. We're getting well into the season, fifth stage of competition so far for Major League jumping. And the teams forming a part of a massive week of competition here in Traverse City once again. We're returning to this venue as part of the American Gold Cup week as well, and looking forward to what is a packed weekend of sport. The teams we already know now finding their feet in the competitions throughout the season, and for them it is in for a little bit of breeze, but at good conditions here this afternoon as well. So as ever, the 8 teams coming into play for this, we'll take you through that list in just a few moments time of who to expect from the competition here today as well. And it's looking strong, it's looking fast, and it's looking well that they've got their boots well under the table now and very used to this type of competition. So looking forward to what Alan Wade has set for the various stages of the competition here today. Remembering that first round, of course, is faults and time, and we take those top 4 teams through to the next round. So let's take a look at Alan's course. Starting with a fairly sedate start, but again, you could take a stride out down here to the vertical at the second on course, the Cabana Coast. Then it's into the swift turnbacks. We've seen some of the individuals go as well, and it's giving us a little bit of an idea of what to expect from the team riders as well. Back to the CP fence now, real run down here. They go 7 or 8 strides down to this Major League double on the 1 stride distance through there, and this is when they can really head on to a fast pace at this point. 5 again on a related distance to the Southern Arches. Looks 5 strides then down to the vertical at the next, to the Premier Equestrian fence, and to the turn back then to 7, 8 A and B, the double up coming there on course. And again, that can be a big one to catch them out if they're just going a little bit too fast. They've got to balance it up. They need the faults to be low as well as the time to be fast. Calais fence at fence 9, and then a curving line, again potentially the 8 strides into the double at 10 A and B. A loop back to the final line to 11 and 12, and that will take them from the Major League fence to finish over the American Gold Cup fence as the last on course. That's round 1 for the teams. As I say, the top 4 teams going forward to round 2. They've got to keep the score as low as possible. We've seen how it works so far, and we'll see how it plays out here. This is the order they go in. This was from the draw earlier on this week. Competition amongst the teams. It was cornhole this time, and the best of them was Lugano, who finished, of course, the winners in Ottawa, will go last. Northern Lights will be starting us off. Helios, the team currently topping the championship, will go second. Roadrunners in third in the run at the moment. They're actually 5th in the overall championship at this stage. Crusaders go 4th, 3rd in the championship at this point. Have got a good record here in Traverse City. Eye Candy come up after that, last year's champions. Will be 5th in the order, 4th in the championship at the moment. Trailblazers coming late, and they've got a bit of work to do as they're 8th in the championship at the moment. This is a good chance for them to get a good position and climb. Spyco Spies after that. They've had a lot of second places. Could this be number 1 for them here in Traverse City? And Lugano, as I say, looking to double up on that success from just a few weeks ago in Ottawa as well. So we'll take you through each of those individual riders coming for that as we get into the teams, but that's the order for the teams, and heading into the national anthem as well. Delighted to welcome out Karen Armstead, a native of Chicago, a world traveller with the equines she loves, 21 years of age, a rider and working student for Messenger Hill Farm in Wellington and Chicago, aspiring equine, professional rider and trainer, and passionate about music, and will be singing today's national anthem. Currently recording with Red Key Records on independent works. Delighted to welcome Karen Armstead to sing today's national anthem.
Karen Armstead.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is
all set
showtime.
to
One
go
more-
into the team competition, and so are 8 teams, all set to be reduced down to 4. It is all about being above the cut line, making the cuts into round 2. And starting off through those teams that we just saw there: Northern Lights, Helios, Roadrunners, Crusaders, Eye Candy, Trailblazers, Spyco Spies, and Team Logano. This is the first team up, the Show Plus Northern Lights. Juan Ortiz and Vintage, Vanessa Mannix and Katinka 25, Sean Jobin and Kuklikoch will be the lineup for this team. 7th in the championship so far on 14 points. You can see here this is how the cut line works, and you need to be above that. So basically you need to be one of the 4 best scores going into round 2. So getting set for our first. Hannah Robson alongside with all the stats on this as well. And Juan Ortiz is going to be away with Vintage. Now, Show Plus Northern Lights, their best finish here in Traverse City just a few weeks ago into that round. They're finishing in 3rd.
Yeah, exactly. So it's 3rd place at their first leg here at Traverse City. As you say, that was the best performance that they had, and Juan actually rode on that team. However, he rode Toulouse Z, horse that he rode earlier on today in one of the national level competitions. He had a 4 in the first round and then a clear in the second round in that competition. Vintage, quite a new ride for him. It's one that's come from a Spanish rider, Enrique Camiroaga, but this horse has competed in a number of top level competitions up to 4-star level. This is the horse's first 5-star. Northern Lights, though, have so far placed 6th, 3rd here at Traverse City, and then 5th, and then unfortunately an 8th place finish in Ottawa most recently, so that gave them not very many points at all, and that's why they are in 7th place in the overall season standings with their 14 points in total.
Well, finishing off there at the fast to go there for Juan Ortiz and Vintage, looking like just the 4 there to take them into their round, and 75.70 as a time. And we saw them round in the low 60s in the individual competition. And seeing now on to Vanessa Mannix, the second for the team. And Vanessa with Katinka 25. Competed in Vancouver a few weeks ago. A little bit of a rebuild down there, unfortunately, for that of Juan Ortiz's round. I think the team are back almost ready to go. But Vanessa making her second appearance on the team for the Show Plus Northern Lights.
She is indeed. She jumped at the Vancouver leg, that of course being the first leg of the Major League show jumping season this year. She rode Katinka there. Katinka an increasingly consistent ride for her, and one that she's had for a little while now. She had 2 fences down in Vancouver. But when we spoke to her in Ottawa, she was saying how excited she is to be a part of the team and what a fantastic team spirit they have got. She has a couple of rides here, but as I say, Katinka is most certainly the most experienced of those that she has here today. She's been in the top 10 in her last 6 competitions, and including the Ottawa leg, she's on a run of 10 clear rounds in a row. So a pretty impressive run so far this year, and certainly somebody that looks to be a good choice for the Northern Lights. It's a crucial part of the season. We're approaching the halfway point, and being 7th in the standings, they really need the points this week.
They certainly do, and we saw the fall from their first rider, so that's going to put a little bit of pressure on. She's going a little bit on the steadier side, but trying to make sure of that clear so far. Gets a nice 5 strides down to the Premier Equestrian fence from that point of view, and then this turn back to the double, again taking this a little more quietly. We saw some of the individual riders really bowling down there, but then they're playing a different game to this one. This is where you've got to get that, strike that balance between your team score and keeping the full slow and getting a fast time in there, because it's going to be a difficult one to get between the two. But if you get close on those faults, remember time is going to be a factor too, so they've got to balance those two when they go in for their round. Coming on home for Vanessa Mannix, and it's going to be a good round so far. Looks good for them. So it looks like we've got just the 4 there for the team, clear there for Vanessa Mannix to kick things off into the second rider, so that helps balance things up. And then on to their third rider, Sean Jobin, Koklikot, and actually has completed in 3 stages so far for them. Juan Ortiz, in fact, confirmed at the clear as well, so the team on the clear so far for them.
This could be a fantastic result if Sean is able to jump well, and he's been quite a key part of the team so far already this year with this very horse. He rode on the team in Vancouver and in Toronto as well. Just the 1 fence down in Vancouver and then jumped clear in Toronto. As I say, both of those performances with this very horse. Sean, with those 2 appearances out of the 4 legs so far for the team, you know, now this is his 3rd. He really is a key part of the Show Plus Northern Lights, and if he can keep all of the fences up, this could be extremely valuable. Yeah,
exactly. Northern Lights looking for those valuable points, as you say, close to the wrong end of the table at the moment.
But even so, you know, the points that are down this table are still not a million miles apart. You know, they're 7th, but Trailblazers in 8th are just 1 point behind them.
And just gets low there, unfortunately tries to cut up to it and loses the height over it, so it's going to be on the 4 for them, for Sean Jobin and Koklikot. So team score of 4. It's a good score, but again, we don't get it into perspective until we see the other teams go. But on the 4 there for Sean Jobin, and Vanessa Max going clear. Juan Ortiz confirmed at the clear as well. Obviously just caught the fence on the way round, so although we got the clatter, it was all absolutely fine. So that's the first team completed for Show Plus Northern Lights. Good start for them.
Extremely good start, and it's been quite a mixed bag actually from one leg to the next, whether we have quite high faulting first rounds or not. And of course the scores completely are discounted from the first round. They just need to be into the top 4, but I would say that 4 is looking like a really strong score. We'd need several teams to be on a 0 score to be going ahead of them, but you know, as you were saying as well, the time is vital as well, and that could make all of the difference. In fact, last time out in Ottawa, we saw some teams on equal penalties but dropping below the cut line due to the time that they had.
Exactly, it's all not done and dusted just on one element of this. And so with the team just on the 4 there, the Northern Lights just on 4 in total, that coming from Sean Jobin. Helios will be the second team with those 3 wins behind them already. Ottawa, unfortunately, was into 7th place for them, fell back there. First in the championship at the moment. And Ashley Bond with Donatello, Mark Blumen and Marilyn, Carl Cook and Fessy Bell on the team. Ashley Bond's going to start them off with Donatello, horse she rode actually at the Olympic Games to finish individual 11th place. And this is actually always very quick.
Extremely quick. Ashley herself is a really quick rider, but as you say, Donatello is a very quick horse as well, but absolutely has all the scope, as you can see from the A element of that double combination as well. And Ashley is really the rider that spearheads this team. You touched on the Olympic Games there, but I know that she was also watching this competition remotely when we had our first leg at Traverse City from the World Championships. She rode on the team in Vancouver, just had 1 fence down with this very horse.
Actually very fast, as you can see, and they've got a real steam on down to fence 9 at the moment. Just straighten up for this double.
She's getting away from these fences so quickly as well. She knows how important the time can be, and I think now that the first team have laid down a score of 4, they'll all be riding this a little bit more like a speed class.
Yeah, good round from Ashley then. Takes her with a good clear to start them off. Well, 64.15 as a time, so that's going to be a really quick one. So were we to get into the 4s, getting close to each other, that would make a big difference to them and certainly put them well ahead of the team that we've just seen, of course, the Northern Lights. So Ashley Bond, round clear. Not a big surprise for that one, because that one's very well used to coping with this height and just has that natural pace. So very swiftly in to Mark Blumen and Marilyn, also competed here back at that stage back in August, then was on to the 2 Canadian stages. And for him, a little bit steadier here, but it's a good consistent combination.
Yeah, as you say, this is their 4th appearance on the team so far. Well, Mark's 4th appearance for the team so far. He rode at Traverse City and Toronto and Ottawa. There, though, in all 3 of those rounds, all 3 of those performances, he rode Noortje van der Windheuvel. Marilyn is arguably his more experienced horse, and so it's really interesting that he's chosen Marilyn today when actually his other ride, Noortje, has been incredibly successful as well. In Traverse City, previously he jumped a double clear, also did the same in Toronto, but unfortunately had 2 fences down in Ottawa. But as I say, very, very good with his other ride, and Marilyn is arguably a little bit more established even at this level. This is actually for Team Helios the 4th new lineup combination for the team. They had their first 3 wins with entirely different lineups of riders, and this is their 4th different lineup.
Yep, good one for them again. A little bit steadier there, of course, for Mark Blumen and Marilyn. Ran in 72.95, so 2 clears on the board for them. Same as it was for the Northern Lights. They just had that 4 at the end. Now what Helios need is this one to stay clear as well, and it's got a very good chance. Carl Cook and Fessy Bell also competed here in Traverse City at the previous stage here, and has been on absolutely flying form as well. Went brilliantly here last week too. Good string of horses around him at the moment, and this one would have a very good chance based on their record.
Absolutely. Fessy Bell's been a great ride for him, and as you say, is one that he rode here at our previous leg on the team competition for a really nice double clear. He was part of the winning team there. He actually rode this horse once on the AIM United team as well last year. That was at the thermal leg. And this pair are actually 100% of the time clear over fences of 1.60 m. They are 40% of the time clear at 1.55 and 62% of the time clear over fences of 1.50. So that goes to show just how consistent they are. This is his 2nd appearance for the team, but he's been having some fantastic results recently around Northern America. Absolutely a combination who you would consider to be on form.
Yeah, coping with this well as you'd expect, and it just takes a little care into this double again. Very easy to have that vertical on the way in, then gets a nice tidy turn back to this major league vertical. Not going full flat out to the last, but just comes at a nice rhythm to it and plays it well, because that plays safe for them. It means that 3 clears on the board for Helios, and they're first, giving them a really good fast run at it and then their final run at 70.29. So midway between all of those for each of them. Mark Bloom the steadiest, Ashley Bond the fastest at 64.15. She was 8 seconds in front of her teammates, and 70.29 for Carl Cook to give them a total of 2:07.39, and on the clear for Team Helios. So a good start for them, looking to follow up, and of course that success here back earlier on in the year.
You wonder if there's a little bit of team tactics gone on there, because Ashley Bond was really riding that like a speed class, wasn't she? And that's what's really put them ahead in terms of the time. They are 8 seconds ahead as a team versus the time of the Northern Lights. And Ashley's time was the one that's really made the difference there.
It does, and as you say, a little bit of tactic comes into it. They naturally go like that. So getting them out first, get a fast, quick one in first, and you go, okay, the other two can take a little bit of a breather back from that point of view and say, okay, we've got that in the bag. Let's build on that from that point of view. You can play it both ways. You can put the fast one at the end of your team and go, you need to make some pace up here. So there's a couple of different options. Roadrunners 5th in the championship on 17 points so far. Kyle King, Alberto Misha, and Kristen van der Veen. Top 5 in Vancouver for this team. They're looking for a few more results out of this. Kyle King was in Vancouver when they went well there, as was Alberto Misha, and Kristen van der Veen now going the other way around, because she's the one that's really naturally fast from that point of view. Echelon for Kyle, who's just been again a really solid performer for them, and in the Grand Prix as well. Went brilliantly here last year too, and been here throughout this week, looking like he could well put them in the game. They're coping with this well so far. Again, it's sort of midway pace at the moment, so they're just balancing that up with not trying to get too fast, but just a few like there, a little bit of a cut off the line to just save a few feet here and there.
Yeah, some quite interesting, quite economical lines he's taking, as you say, just not wasting any time, but the pace isn't quite too fast. He actually rode Echelon in Vancouver and had 2 fences down. That, of course, a very different arena to this. And I think that's something that you really notice about Major League show jumping as well, that you see a real difference in the environments and the types of arena, different surfaces, different arena sizes. It's hard for them to be consistent across all of those, but that's what they need to do.
Yep, gets round for the clear, and again, now this is going to make it very interesting. If we get a few teams on the clear, in fact, it looks like it just had the 4 faults there at some point. Didn't quite catch that one, but 68.07 was the time for Kyle King. And so for the Roadrunners, just put some into the same boat as the Northern Lights now, starting off with that fault. Alberto Misha now midway through here, for a man with huge experience, including Olympic Games. Now he gets off to a good start here.
Yeah, Bugatti, a great ride for him recently. Is one that he's had only since June of this year. And so he's been really consolidating this partnership. In fact, he jumped on the Roadrunners team in Vancouver before he even partnered with this horse. There he rode Hotspot to have 2 fences down. He rode Bugatti, though, in Ottawa at our most recent leg to have a clear round, and then just had 1 fence down, and so added 3 seconds to his time in the first jump off. Unfortunately, there the NetJets boxer falls for him. So instantly, the Roadrunners drop behind Northern Lights at this stage. He's jumped quite a few clears with this horse, a good double clear in the opening 5-star competition in Ottawa actually as well.
Yeah, just going to finish on the 4 there as well for Alberto Misha and Bugatti. So for that team, we've already seen a team on 4, team on clear. Roadrunners a little bit behind the pace now, and you can see by Abby's face a little bit of disappointment. It's not a bad round with 4 faults, but they know they start accumulating through, and that's going to make it tough for them.
But you know, the courses, you can see that there are a few issues in a few different places around this course, or certainly questions being asked, and an 8 still could see them in the top 4. It just all depends what those other teams can do. So relatively quick times as well from the Roadrunners, both of them sub 70 seconds. So actually they are our second and third fastest times so far. Of course not catching the time of Ashley Bond, but they're relatively quick.
Yes, they are, and can be very fast indeed. Like I say, you can sometimes better to put your speedy one out at the tail end as well. So we will see Kristen van der Veen, Bull Run's Prince of Peace, and this is a big ground covering combination that really could make a difference here. So they've got a bit to make up. If they can save some time, that might help them a little bit later. We don't quite know yet.
This is the fourth time that Kristen's jumped for the Roadrunners this season. She jumped here at Traverse City with this very horse, Bull Run's Prince of Peace, for a clear round. Sadly, the Roadrunners weren't in the top 4 there, so just 1 clear for her there. She then jumped in Toronto with Bull Run's Faustino de Tilly for a double clear, and also jumped in Ottawa again with Prince of Peace. Just 1 time fault in the first round, and then 1 fence down in the jump-off competition to add 3 seconds, but she certainly doesn't look like she's hanging around here.
No, she is not. She gives that one a little bit of rattle, and this one is powering on around this course at the moment. As I say, she could help them in the sense of keep the score clear and just keep them at the 8 and give them a fast one to make up a bit of ground, maybe depending on how the rest get on. But we will see. And looking to get home for Kristen van der Veen. For her, it's clear over the last, and a good round for them. How fast it is, we will see. But for Kristen van der Veen and Bull Run's Prince of Peace, a good solid one for them, 61.02. So that was very fast when you consider Ashley Bond was 64.15. So a team on the 8 there in total, 198.56. So in terms of a combined time, they're one of the fastest so far, but unfortunately falling back on the faults, and that's the balance between the two. Crusaders about to head in, and Crusaders third in the championship so far. On the 20 points at the moment. They were top 3 in Ottawa as well. Let's take a look. We've got the great BZ Man to start them off with, an 8-year-old in Hummerzet, Hunter Holloway and Eastern Jam, and Callie Schott and Teddy Zet to make up the team this time for the Crusaders. Going to be the 4th team of the lineup of 8. Lovely to see the dual Olympic gold medalist with us, and of course World Championship medalist as well. One of the finest riders the sport's seen. On a young horse here on the 8-year-old Hummers. Watched this horse a little bit earlier this week. Very, very nicely indeed. Good, confident 8-year-old to get in here. And again for Beezy, get in here, get the clear. And this is where it starts to take shape, because they'll start to see how important a stream of clears are, more than the speed.
Yeah, exactly. As you say, this horse jumped very well earlier in the week, but just quite a young horse. It's quite a big striding looking horse as well. So, you know, this arena is certainly not small, and that ground cover could really help them out here. This is Beezy's first time jumping for the Crusaders this season. So a little bit of an unknown quantity for the team, but she's not really rushing, but she's certainly not an unknown quantity as a competitor.
She's certainly very much a well-known quantity.
Yeah. So a bit of a mixed bag, you know, for the team lineup, I mean, this week, because such an experienced competitor but first time on the team, and then the other riders for the Crusaders have been on the team several times this year but are perhaps less experienced competitors.
Easy doing what she does best. A nice round so far. Good little turn up there to just test them out for this big scopy 8-year-old. Good chance for BC to test out the buttons on this horse as well. She's got Breitling LS here this week too, but gets a big jump, floats over that Oxer, and she gets everything back and running.
This horse is giving these fences a lot of height.
This is one to watch out for the future as well. Really nice round from BC so far. Going to be around 70 in terms of time. Looks good, 69.96, and not the biggest surprise of the afternoon. It is a clear for BC Madden and Hummerzet, but again, going first, she gets a little bit. She can play it both ways. She can take the pressure off the rest by getting the clear, or you know, they can leave the speed to a little bit later to the rest of them. But for her, clear done, dusted. And on to our next two with Hunter Holloway and Callie Schott. Hunter's been with us pretty well every stage.
Yes, she has. Every single stage, in fact. She's had a little bit of a mix of horses to ride for the team. She's rode Dana de Kerglen in Vancouver to have 2 fences down. then went into this competition in Traverse City the previous time that we were here with Pepita Conspita for a really good double clear, helping the team to a 4th place finish. In Toronto she rode Eastern Jam, of course the horse she rides here today, for 1 down and then a clear in the first jump off there, helping them to a 2nd place finish, and rode Eastern Jam once again in Ottawa for a clear and then 1 down in the first jump off to add the 3 seconds, helping the team to a 3rd place. So she's been on the team for 3 top 4 finishes, 2 podium finishes, and actually unfortunately the Crusaders had a bit of a tricky time at the first leg in Vancouver, but since then they've been really quite consistent. They've been in the top 4 in the following 3 competitions. They're sitting in 3rd in the overall season standings and they are on 20 points in total. Eye Candy are only 1 point behind them, and in 2nd place Spyco Spies are on 25, so there's a little bit more of a gap from 2nd to 3rd, but certainly from 3rd down to 4th it's extremely tight, just 1 point separates them.
Yeah, been given a couple of poles, a little bit of a scare, and unfortunately 1 falls for them, so going to be on a score of 4 there for Hunter Holloway and Eastern Jam. Time pretty good though in the terms of that was 66.87, so just puts them on the 4, so still time-wise sitting pretty well. Remember, if they're coming up against that 8-fault team, if you like, so Roadrunners, time will make the difference, but Roadrunners very fast indeed. Now the key is last rider stay clear. Callie Schott will be last with Teddy Z, winner of that 2-star Grand Prix in Vancouver a few weeks ago. She then won the 5-star Grand Prix here with a different ride with Garant on that occasion as well, and again has been with us through each stage.
She has indeed. She's been a really key part of the team. She's ridden a couple of different horses again. So in Vancouver she rode Charlie for 2 fences down. Actually, interestingly, in Vancouver all 3 riders for the Crusaders had 2 fences down. That's what had them in the 8th spot there. Here at Traverse City she rode Teddy for a 4 faulting round and then a clear in the 2nd jump off. In Toronto she was back to Charlie, Ottawa then Teddy, and this is her 3rd appearance of the year with Teddy, but 5th as an appearance for her as a rider. She's in each of the last 3 times she's been on the team, she's been selected for the 2nd jump off, so she's been the one in the medal jump off at the end of the competition. So it'll be interesting to see if they get through to the top 4. If she ends up being that 2nd jump off rider again. She jumped clear twice in the 2nd jump off, but just had 1 down in Ottawa. Still helped the team to that 3rd place finish though, so she's been a really crucial part of the team so far. I mean, arguably, you know, she is the one who's got them the 3rd place finish in Ottawa, being in that 2nd jump off, that bronze medal jump off.
Looking good so far for them, and team-wise will leave them a little bit higher. It is going to be a good round in 71.42, and there for an overall team score of 4:208.25. So it's the 2nd best score so far of this group of riders. A little bit faster than the Show Plus Northern Lights. So around about 8 seconds faster, in fact, just around that. So they go into 2nd at this point. Helios leading with the clear, 2:07.39. And then down to the 8 faults on 1:98.56, sitting on the edge of it for the Roadrunners. So 4 gone, 4 to come. This is where we start to know who's staying and who's going for a quiet orange juice for the rest of the afternoon. Yeah. It is going to be a lead at the moment for Helios, so basically unless we get 4 more clears out of that, they should be in. They're looking in a strong position at the moment. The others still to play their parts with Eye Candy, the Trailblazers, the Spyco's team, and Logano as well. And the way the draw works, there's various different activities that they do at each stage. Whoever comes out best gets the best draw. So the best at the cornhole tournament the other day was Logano, so they go last. They get we like a little bit of skill to get to it. No, we're not just randomly picking out names and going, okay, this is where the team goes. Bit of skill. You've got to work for your draw here, because the tail end of the draw is the better place to be. That's the theory behind it anyway, but you can see the reality of it, because you're coming into those group of riders now, into that team, going, okay, I know roughly what we've got to do. It doesn't help you a lot, because you're going, I know what we've got to do, we've got to jump clear. But you get more an idea, and right down at the end you know exactly what you've got to do. Amy Miller, Cristiano, it's Jacqueline Stephens Daly and Cat Ninja Connor Swale and Theo 160, 2 for Canada and 1 for Ireland. The one for Ireland is the world number 4. Amy Miller is an Olympic rider. Jacqueline Steffens has already now been on to these teams on a regular basis and on that winning championship team last year as well. So you can see we've got strength in depth across this team that are currently 4th in the championship, and again looking for that climb. The points got a lot tighter after the last stage in Ottawa, with Helios leading on 32 points for the championship, and Spikos now 7 points behind. That big gap has now been squeezed up. So as each of these stages progress, it makes it tougher. Amy Miller, Cristiano, another one that's been on the team a couple of times so far. They finished top 3 at Angelstone as a team, 4th on the Canadian stage in Vancouver as well. She's as solid as ever and been a top team rider for the Canadians.
She has indeed. You know, she had 2 fences down in Ottawa with Cristiano, but then jumped a double clear in Toronto. Jumped in the first jump off there. But, you know, a couple of people have said that she's perhaps the glue that holds the team together. She was a crucial part of things in 2021. You know, we had a few riders who were pretty much always on the team, or certainly in combination in 2021, helping them to that overall season finish. But it's been a little bit of a mixed bag for Team Eye Candy. They've been relatively consistent, but 2 5th places, a 3rd and a 4th has been their result so far. They were 5th here at Traverse City the last time around, but Amy was not part of the team there. Cristiano, though, such an experienced horse for her.
A little bit quick down that line, but does it so brilliantly. That's very tidily done. As we see coming on the 4 already. But again, this is where, again, an early rail can help you, because you know you need to get the pace on. But Amy, good in the balance there, 67.47. So coming on the 4 for Amy Miller. And Cristiano.
I have to say, you know, talking about the draw, you might think that Northern Lights perhaps might have had a little bit more of a foot to the floor if they could see some of these later times, because their 3 team members' times were some of the slowest that we've had, and we're actually having several sub 70-second scores now. But Northern Lights just on the 4 faults, but they're all, you know, over 70 seconds, and Juan Ortiz 75.7 seconds, so that's actually our slowest time so far. So arguably, had they seen a couple of them go, they might have been a little bit quicker.
And coming on the team score of 4 into this for Jacqueline. Good out of the double there, as you say. They've got to find a little bit of pace here, which will help them. She gets a good inside turn to the Southern Arches, but gets a little bit high there. Costs her just a fraction on time. Good for jumping over that next part.
Jacqueline's another rider who's ridden on every single leg of this team competition so far this year, and actually last year she was the rider who made the most appearances of any rider on any team. So far she's always ridden freaky, and she's jumped double clears, in fact 2 double clears and 1 clear round, so 5 clears in total for the team. 2 down in Traverse City last time, but now goes for Cat Ninja here.
Yeah, this is going to be a mid-ranging in terms of time. It's going to be just under the 77 seconds, 69.86 for Jacqueline. That's Steffens Daly there for the second rider for Team Eye Candy. And so she finishes on the clear. We've got the 4 from Amy Miller that started things off. And so Team on a 4, she gives the horse back quite rightly. And Cat Ninja, job done so far. In the blue 2 is Connor Swale of Ireland. I say the world number 4, been on an unbelievable run over the last 12 months plus. He's always been a brilliant rider, but again has just gone up another level in the last 18 months plus. Connor with Theo 160, another good 5-star horse with plenty of experience for him as well, and for Team Philipparts. Now Swale could bring the pace here as well, looking at the way he's starting there.
He's a really fast rider, and as you say, he's on such a fantastic run of form. You know, those amazing results at the Dublin Horse Show, just as one example of that. He was second in the 5-star Grand Prix at Ottawa as well, second to Kent Farrington, those two battling it out in that 5-star Grand Prix. Theo, Fantastic ride for him. He's got quite a few top rides at the moment, and he rode Theo on the team in Vancouver to have one fence down and then a little bit of a slow run in the second jump off. He also rode Theo here at Traverse City just to have one down last time, so helping the team to a 4th and a 5th place finish.
Looking good for time so far for Connor Swale. Theo really takes a chance down to that Calais fence, but a calculated one nonetheless just takes them back a little so they don't power into that first part of the double. And for him, this could get around mid-60s if he keeps on running down to the last. Took the option early on, went the 8 rather than the 7 strides down to double, but it's a good solid one at 68.03. Quick enough, not the quickest, but a nice round for them. And so knocks out the Roadrunners, I'm afraid, down below the cut line, and means the Northern Lights in danger on the 4 at the moment. Eye Candy going into second on the 4, 2:05.36. So that 3 seconds quicker than the Crusaders so far. Helios looking pretty at this point. And so with the 3 teams left, Helios guarantee their spot into round 2. So still the question of the Trailblazers, Spy Coast and Lugano. Basically one team is safe, the rest are not. Not yet.
Yeah, a bit of a way to go, and you can see the difference in the times there in the standings as well. Bit tricky times for Northern Lights potentially.
It is on to the Trailblazers, Daniel Blumen, Emma Marlowe and Santiago Lambre for Brazil, Israel, USA and Brazil. Looking a very international field for the Trailblazers here this week. And starting off with a man who's also in the world's top 20 with Daniel Blumen, US based. Home here, riding internationally for Israel. Emma Marlowe and a regular on the team for the Trailblazers with Cherokee, and Santiago Lamre is making a second appearance, I think, onto the team with Comtesse. Blumen to start things off. Again, so good here this week in the big international classes with Gemma W. is going to Kashmir de Boise this time around as well for Daniel. And this is one that can win a big class and has won a big 4-star Grand Prix here previously in Traverse City. Now, interesting to see what the strategy is here, because the 4s are not guaranteed at the moment. So these later teams need some pace.
They do need some pace, and it'll be interesting, as you say, to see whether they go for that pace or whether they try to go for 3 clears.
He gets down there on the 7 by the looks of that, so that's 1 less than Connor Swale. A few in the speed class earlier. He gets a good turn inside back to this Southern Arches fence. Again, takes that on the angle, and he's got a good line up to the black poles, the Premier Equestrian fence. Just again nudging into the left-hand side, and again doesn't waste a single second on that turn, and he's getting faster and faster as he's going. But that is the problem. Down it comes, throws him forward, gets a little bit off the balance there, and now gets it back. Now he's just, again, got to use the pace. Things are just getting a little quick for them now. Kashmir taking a bit of a hold too. Daniel so brilliantly getting this all mastered towards the end. He needs to harness this pace, and he's got there to it, but it's going to be the 4, and it's going to be very fast, as we can see. 63.8, but it costs him a rail in the end here at the CP fence. And then later on into that double, just scrambles through there. Daniel very quick to correct, but leaves them on the 4. But like I said, you need that pace, because now you're still competing against the Eye Candy in second at the moment. 2 other riders go out there with fireworks going, and you've still got a chance.
Exactly. They've got a bit of pace already under their belts. That gives a little bit of breathing room time-wise, but it doesn't give much breathing room in terms of faults. So for Emma Marlowe and Santiago Lambre, I'm sure they will be trying to keep all of the fences up. Emma extremely experienced and key part of the team so far. She rode in Vancouver for a clear round. Unfortunately, she was really quite slow in the first jump off, and so that left the Trailblazers into 3rd place. Then she jumped clear at Traverse City, had 3 fences down, quite uncharacteristic, in Toronto, and then 2 down in Ottawa. The Trailblazers so far have finished 3rd, at the Vancouver leg, and then not had quite such an easy time of it, going 7th, 7th and 6th so far. Has them in the tailing point of the standings in 8th place. But they're on 13 points, and it's not a million miles away to 7th and 6th.
Good at the moment, gets a little bit of a wide shot here, but again, they've had a good quick pairing come out first that might help that a little bit, but may just lose a little bit on that stage. And they're going to be in the 70s. But if they keep it clear, they've got a chance. If they're on their 8, bearing in mind the Roadrunners were a really fast time, they're in deep trouble if they don't leave them all up now. So they go clear. 73-72. Emma Marlowe and Cherokee. Very nice round from her once again. And so she gets the clear and keeps them at the 4. 137.52 for the Trailblazers at the moment. Final rider for them, Santiago Lamre of Brazil, Contest 202, coming into this stage in Traverse City for them, substituted in for the squad. And Santiago, again, lots of experience. He's gone really well here in Traverse City in the last few weeks. And when I say really well, he has cleaned up. I've lost count of how many classes he's won. I think it's 6, but might be more than that. So he's a good one to have on the team here. And basically, he's got to be clear. It's as simple as that, because if he goes into the 4, they're likely to be slower than the Roadrunners.
Yeah, it's only Team Helios. Oh, Team Helios are certainly safe now. iCandy also now safe with 2 teams to go. But Santiago, as you say, is another rider who is so on form, and Contest has been such a great partner for him recently. They are 60% of the time clear of offences of 150, 67% clear at 160, so really very, very consistent indeed. This is his 2nd appearance for the team. He actually jumped at the previous leg here at Traverse City, just had 1 fence down, helping the team to the 3rd place finish.
A little bit of a dangerous shot there. He was working right up until the last second to get that one to happen. Still good. He's got to leave them up. They stay on the 4. As a team, they've got a chance because they've got some breathing room there, but they get there. 70.87 Santiago Lamre and Contest 202 for the Trailblazers. Still leaves them in the danger zone. Northern Lights, you see, on the 4, they're out of the equation. They're done. They're down into 5th, so 2:08.39. So they were a good 11, near 11 seconds quicker for the Trailblazers as a team. So puts them into 4th place at the moment. But Spy Coast and Lugano still to come at them. So they're still very much in the squeakier position at this stage. iCandy now safe.
It's quite a big difference, actually, isn't it? The 11 seconds. And, you know, especially when you consider that across 3 riders, there's only 0.14 of a second that separates the time of the Crusaders and the Trailblazers. It's pretty incredible, actually, across the 3 riders.
So 2 teams know their position. 2 teams still yet to fire their action into this yet. Shane Sweetnam, Tanaka Rotkin and Margie Engel. And what a lineup this is for the Spy Coast team. Shane Sweetnam to go first with Birdie the Tho, and then Tanaka Rotkin, the young talent in the centre. Between that and the hugely experienced Margie Engel as the last to go. And again for them, 3 times second so far this season? They've been touching on the door. They just can't go through it.
They really have been knocking on the door, and they are really hungry for a win. 3 second places already this year. They had a really tricky time in Toronto to finish in 8th, but unfortunately that was because Thomas Joffre actually fell off during his journey through a really tricky triple combination. But it was certainly very uncharacteristic. But the 3 second places still holds them in 2nd in the overall season standings on 25 points. So they're still well up there. And, you know, arguably you might say that this is one of the teams with the most consistent lineup of horses. Of course, Birdie Dutho, fantastic partner for Shane. He's been jumping a whole host of good rounds and had a whole host of good results with this horse. He rode Alejandro in Vancouver for a 4 and then a clear, and in Ottawa Road, Birdie Dutho had a clear round and then had a refusal actually, so quite a slow round in the second jump off, but again it was really unlucky and that's what kept them from the top spot there.
All you need to worry about is going on a very good clear so far for Shane Swedenham. This is going to be late 60s as well, as he's going to get home. He just opens up nicely down to the last, going to skip through there, going to get home in around 68.83, and super round to start off for the Spy Coast team. Shane Swedenham, Birdie Dutho, delivers the clear, as you would expect from a man of his experience. And this team really, although the young rider coming in the middle, they've got experience either side, but they're really good top to bottom.
Very, very good indeed, and really it's the horses that are making this team, well, the riders are extremely talented, but it's certainly, you know, perhaps the most consistent lineup of horses. We've got talented rider lineups in other teams as well, but some of those riders bringing forward slightly less experienced horses. Quinn 33 for Tanner Korotkin has been absolutely incredible recently. He won a 5-star speed class here at our first visit to Traverse City back in August. He also had a win in Ottawa with Quinn, and it's a relatively new partnership, but one he's just gelled with so quickly. It's his first time riding on the team competition, but with his recent run of form you can absolutely see why he's been selected for this. They really want the win, and as I say, with wins in speed classes, this pair have really got the speed as well, and you can see that as they come round the corner.
He's got a bit too much speed there. He's just trying to hold them off this now, and again, that's going to put them in the category of the 4s. So bearing in mind now, as a team, they've got to be faster than the Trailblazers on 2:08, 39, 68, 83 from their first rider. Oh, and he's saying whoa again.
He's really fighting around these corners, isn't he? The horse is so naturally quick.
I was back to say he could be in trouble here, the way they were coming down there. He did so well to get the first bit right, but just with the pace to the second, is just again getting to have a longer arms at the end of this by about 3 inches. But it is going to be a score of 8 there, 66.56. Tanner Korotkin and Quinn 33 for him. Very, very good effort from the young rider. But for him, it is going to see 2 fences down, and so Spy Coast team, we know, are not going to make the second round, which means Crusaders are safe in there. And unfortunately, it means the Spy Coast team, they're just playing for places now. So regardless, Margie, of course, will go, because it's also about points in the lineup and an individual score for them, but I won't go too deeply into that one. But it's still about getting a position here for those points for the season. Spy Coast, as we say, in second place at the moment in the championship. A good shot round here from Margie will still leave them potentially with some good points. They could move up 2 places in terms of the final lineup, depending on how Lugano get on, etc., or they could be at the bottom. Who knows?
I'd say it's quite a bit of a shock of a result, actually. You know, Tanner has been so consistent. It's such a shame to have those 2 fences down. He was absolutely there on the time, and Spy Coast Spies have been fantastically consistent. They've got a really exciting lineup of horses and riders. It's down now to Margie to keep them on the 8, but sadly they won't be in the top 4. So they're not going to be challenging the top spot, especially as there's a bit of rivalry going on between Team Helios and Spy Coast Spies, and Team Helios will be coming out on top in terms of that head-to-head between those 2 teams in this competition. Spy Coast Spies, depending on where they finish, could see themselves drop down from the second spot in the season standings. This is Margie's 3rd appearance with DCAS for the team, and she's jumped 2 double clears for them with DCAS so far.
Good round for them, and it'll bring them home clear on 66.36. It won't be enough to put the Spy Coast team into the next round. They will finish on a score of 8. But a nice round nonetheless from Margie Engel. Lovely to see Margie out with us this afternoon. But unfortunately, it will put her well individually, but not enough to be playing the game for the team. So the team's still sitting into that last position at the moment, with 1 team left to come, because of course we know from the Roadrunners they were really fast around. Rest of them just sitting on the 4. And you see how close they are when you see Crusaders 2:08.25, Trailblazers 2:08.39. There is really very, very tiny differences coming into this as well. Split seconds all the way can make a day or not. Lugano Diamonds, Hilary McNerney, Love Light, Carly Fairty, Leachin de Silo, and then finally Vanessa Hood and Cascal Retta. Interesting, Kent Farrington sitting off the team this time. He has been through several stages so far. They've also gone to the likes of Natalie Dean so far. So a little bit of a new lineup here today. Hilary shall lead them off.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a new lineup. Kent's been on the team 3 times so far, but as you say, sits this one out today. Natalie Dean has also been on the team 3 times so far, and again sits this one out. Hilary McNerney, it's her first time on the... oh no, excuse me, it's her second time riding for the team. She rode in Vancouver. There she rode Astilba for 3 fences down. That was on one of the Lugano team's trickier performances, shall we say. They finished 7th, then 8th here at Traverse City last time out, and then 6th in Toronto. Then it all turned around, it all gelled together for a win in Ottawa.
Well, not quite gelling together there for the 4 faults. Now they're in the battle with the rest of them because you've got Northern Lights out at 2:19. So basically the whole team needs to be home. We're leaving all the rest of the fences up and be faster than 2:08.39 as a combined score.
It's quite tight, and we comment on the 0.14 of a second between the Crusaders and the Trailblazers, but actually even between Eye Candy and the Crusaders, it's just under 3 seconds as well.
Yeah, and for your team to be getting around that lead, that time that would just get you when you're looking at just around 69 seconds, you need to be home in. So she's going to be a fraction behind that. So the next rider needs to make that up. 70.82 on the 4 for Hilary McNerney and Love Light. So they're just on the 4. So Carly Fairty and Vanessa Hood need to be clear, and basically they need to now be going around 67, 68 to stand a chance. And in fact, just that score corrected at 79.82 for Hilary McNerney. So that would mean they're on 5, so that means they're out. So just getting that replayed there. We'll just get that corrected score of the team. No, it is 70.82. Ignore what we just said. Don't know where that came from. But on the 4 there, 70.82 for Carly Fairty and Elite Chinder Solo to try and be faster than I say. She needs to be around about 68 seconds from that point of view.
This again is Carly's second appearance for the team so far. She rode in Toronto and rode Elite Chin there as well. She had 4 fences down there though in Toronto. Having said that, this is quite a different arena. It's also on a surface, but it's considerably larger in size, and so this is something that perhaps might suit this horse a bit better.
And you can see she's really going at this to try and get there with those fast times as she can, as say. It's achievable. Little touch there in the double. Close on there. Now she could be close to that 68, 69, 69.52. So not too bad, but the last rider is going to have to go in about 67, something like that. I'll get them maths on that in a second, but it's basically going to have to be fast.
Yeah, Vanessa Hood is really going to have a foot to the floor. Cascal Retto, experienced horse for her, one that she's ridden 3 times already on the team. Just giving a little bit of a smile as she heads down to the arena. I wonder if she knows exactly what she's got to do. I'm sure somebody would have told her it's got to be quick. I'm sure the Show Plus Northern Lights will be... I don't know if kicking themselves is the right word, but having 11 seconds slower.
Difference. Well, she's basically got to be, by my quick maths, faster than 68.05 to beat the Trailblazers and be into the next round. Simple as that. So basically, 68 or lower is what she wants.
But she can go quickly. They can go very quickly indeed. I mean, she's only been in the jump-off rounds once, but I mean, that is because Team Lugano were, as I say, 7th, 8th and then 6th. So she jumped in the first jump off in Ottawa and jumped clear there with a fast time to get them into the gold medal jump off. She also jumped Castelretto in Vancouver and at Traverse City last time out.
Oof. Gave the first fence a bit of a scare.
Let's hope that wakes them up a bit for the rest.
They're going at the pace they need to be going at, which is the good thing so far, it would look like. Good over the CP fence.
They've climbed from 8th in the overall season standings to 6th at the moment, and a good result here could see them go up a little bit further. I mean, they're a fantastic team when you look at the lineup. You know, Kent Farrington, Erin Ballard.
It's done. It's done, I'm afraid. So the top 4 will remain the top 4. So it'll be Helios, Eye Candy Crusaders and Trailblazers. They'll lose those scores. They'll all go back to 0 because it's time seconds added in the next round. And Lugano. Now the question is where Lugano are going to sit in this group, because there's one of 3 places they could be finishing in here, and that is going to be the last one, unfortunately, with that fence down. So that's going to take them to the 12. So that, unfortunately, is going to leave them out of the running. Lugano back down to the bottom of the table, and I think Vanessa Hood knows that as well. She knows they had to try and get to a certain point, and just taking a circle here, it was just not quite working out for them. Going to come and finish off. But 12 will see them in 8th place, so it's been a very up and down season for them at this stage. Not bad performances, just occasionally just a fence too many in there, and unfortunately leaves them on 16 as a score. Probably going to be a little bit of time to add in there as well. Yeah, it takes them up to 24, 226.58 as an overall time for Lugano. So we're going to see through Team Helios. We're going to see the Eye Candy team through. We're going to see the Crusaders through as well. And we're going to see the Trailblazers through this time. Now, Trailblazers, that's an interesting one for them because they are 8th in the championship so far. So a chance to gain some valuable points here for them. And they will go in reverse order of this group. Helios, of course, leading the championship at the moment. They're going to get some good points here regardless of what happens. Crusaders currently 3rd in the championship too at the moment. Again, a little bit of climbing is possible here for the Crusader squad, and I say the Trailblazers going to be a really good chance for them to get a little lift after this. They're certainly going to get some good points whatever happens, even if they finish in 4th place. I'm afraid it is lights out for the Show Plus team. The Northern Lights, goodbye to you. Roadrunners are going to be jogging off into the distance. Spy Coast, I'm afraid, are done, and Lugano, I'm afraid, not quite shining this time around, goes into 8th place for them after that brilliant performance for a win just a few weeks ago in Ottawa. It's full of thrills and spills, ups and downs, all of that, and we'll be coming up in just a few moments' time with that next round. Of course, 2 more rounds to come as they'll eventually battle for whether it's the bronze or for the gold and the silver.
Premier Equestrian, the number one choice for footing products. Premier Equestrian, footing products that improve performance. Premier Equestrian, footing products for cushion and stability. Call 800-611-6109 or visit PremierEquestrian.com.
The beauty, power, and elegance of warm blood horses is no accident. A history of carefully crafted breeding practices that walk the delicate line of art and science has created a horse that is as strong as it is graceful, so that it may successfully compete at the most elite level in equine sports. Breeders can access an American Stallion station that provides both fresh, chilled, and frozen semen options with full transparency on semen quality. Set on 800 acres of Lexington, Kentucky bluegrass, Spy Coast Farm is revolutionizing the breeding practices of warm blood horses. World-renowned stallions with proven bloodlines that have successfully competed at the top level of international Grand Prix sport are collected by a resident veterinarian and processed promptly for shipment to a domestic breeder for a timely insemination of their ovulating mare. The experts at Spy Coast Farm are determined to improve your U.S. breeding options by taking the guesswork out of semen quality.
all you need to know about round 2. 4 teams advance to round 2, 2 riders per team, and they start on a 0 score. No scores are carried over. In this round, it's only time that counts. 3 seconds are added to the time for each rail dropped. The 2 slowest teams advance to the bronze medal round. The 2 fastest teams, though, advance to the gold medal round. Round 3. Here the decider. This is where the battle really comes down to the finish. 1 rider per team, the rider that did not jump in round 2. Here you play the strategy. The winner, simply the fastest from your round. Speed puts you on the podium.
Eye Candy and Helios, and I can tell you who's going for the different teams, because into this second round 2 riders go for the team. Combined time, it's 3 seconds added if they have a fence down, and basically it is the fastest combined times that will determine the order for the final round, where 1 rider will go, and you'll either be in the top 2 and fighting it out for gold and silver, or you'll be in 3 and 4 going for bronze. Trailblazers, Daniel Blumen and Santiago Lamre. Crusaders, we'll see them with Hunter Holloway and Callie Schott into this next round. Eye Candy team will be a combination of Jacqueline Stephens and Connor Swale. And Team Helios into the second round will be Ashley Bond and Mark Blumen. Will be how that fares out. Of course, it's a shortened course for this, and for the next round it'll be the same course for those rounds as well. We'll take a look at that in just a few moments' time as well. But a really interesting lineup there of what we've got. I would say it is unfortunately the rest of them done and dusted for the day. Let's remind you of what's coming up over the rest of the season as well, because we're beginning heading to 2 stages in Mexico at Tommy to San Miguel de Allende, beautiful city there to head to at the tail end of October into November. 2 weeks in Monterrey in the stunning La Silla facility there, truly world class for back-to-back 5 stars there, and then back on to the west coast of America to the Desert Horse Park, and then to La Quinta, that final stage on 2 stages there as well, where we move between the grass and the beautiful surface there as well. So that is a wonderful spot to be in to round things up. Lots of prize money to be fought for along the way, and lots of trophies to be picked up. But who will pick up the trophy here today? We still to determine that one. Helios, Eye Candy, Crusaders and Trailblazers. And I say you can now ignore those scores, because that just determines the order. There you go back to 0. It's about time, fastest time, getting really here into the top 2. And again, it's a little bit of that qualifying, Hannah, isn't it? Because you want to be 1 or 2, you do not want to be 3 or 4.
Exactly. As you say, the scores are discounted now, so it's a clean sheet for those top 4, but what they're trying to do is to get into the top 2 so that they're in that gold medal jump off. It's somewhere that Team Helios have been 3 times already, so they know exactly what's needed to get there, but they're out in front at the moment, you know, the performance from the round 1, but as we've seen in previous runnings of this, you know, we've seen in previous legs, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will be at the top of the tree at the end of things if you are at the top of the tree after round 1. It's absolutely all to play for. They've got plenty to do. It's almost like a new competition. They've qualified for round 2. Round 2 is a different story altogether.
Yeah, certainly is. So we await to see how that comes together. We're going to take a look at the course as well. For that second and third round, like I say, it'll be the same course for those 2 rounds as well, and we'll take a tour around of that in just a moment or 2. It is going to be foot to the floor, simple as that. That's how this competition works. That's what makes it fun. Here's what it is: 1, 2 and 3 and 4 as it was in the first round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, A and B. So coming into the double, we're taking a little look at the early part of the course here to the Cabana Coast fence at fence 2 as they chase on down to this one. And then the turn back here is a good determining factor as well from that point of view. Back to the CP fence as the next on course. And then up to 4A and B as they will, again, maybe the second part adding a little bit of a a speed bump element to that. Then a quick turn back to 5 in the centre of the arena, and then there'll be a new fence 14 after that, turning back to the from the Southern Arches Oxer to the Platinum Performance fence as the next on course on the rollback there to new fence 14 added into the equation. From there it's 9 and then finally to 10B to finish off as they head down towards the in-gate. So the Caladay fence and then finally down to 10B, what was the double as the last on course. And that's what it's going to look like. And we know the shape of what the teams are going to look like as well. But that is how the team lineup is going to take place. So it is there, the course laid out. Finishing little touches, as you can see, the vases as the last fence on course. And down at the start, ready to go. It's going to be, as I say, teams in reverse order. So the Trailblazers to start off. And that is going to be Daniel Blumen and Santiago Lambre. On this occasion leaves Emma Marlowe left for the final run. And so it looks like Daniel Blumen going to go first, followed by Santiago. So remember, this time around, 3 seconds away. You see a cut line there. That's determining whether they go into the run for the 1 and 2 positions or the 3 and 4 into that final round, with 1 rider to come for each of the teams. So reverse order, Trailblazers kicking off with Daniel Blumen, Kashmir de Braise. Every opportunity for this pair. And, well, let's get to it, Hannah.
Absolutely, we've got a really great lineup in all of this competition, but it's quite an interesting lineup in terms of these teams as well. Trailblazers, perhaps the most interesting of them in terms of where they're sitting at the moment. 8 season standing is 13 points for them, and they were great in Vancouver. Then 3 more key performances.
Well, for them so far, good start for Daniel Blumen. Little touch there. Now a really good turn back to that. Good shot at that.
They really need a good performance here, and you know, as I say, they've had 1 third place but 3 more tricky performances. So Daniel using all of his experience to get them off to a good start. Bit of a skid almost around that corner.
Good shot at it. Good balance run at this final fence. Daniel Blumen will get them off to a very good start at 40.74 for Daniel Blumen to start off for that Trailblazers team, and doing exactly that, blazing the trail for the rest. Little meat left on that bone, but a good start for them. Daniel Blumen, top 20 rider in the world, says there you go. Right, follow me, and following him will be Santiago Lambre. There he is. As I say, string of wins here in Traverse City the last few weeks as well, and very strong in Ocala too. Second appearance, as you mentioned earlier, for the team a little bit earlier on, Santiago Lambre and Comtesse 202. This is a strong pairing, and this is where it comes into it all the way as well, because sometimes you think, oh, I want to save my fastest rider to the last. You've got to get through this bit in the right slot.
Yeah. And I think for the Trailblazers, actually, it's going to be really important that they get through to the gold medal jump-off if they can, because they really do need the points. So they may well want to save their fastest rider for the second jump-off, but they really want to get into that second jump-off in the gold medal position. But this is just not going the way that Santiago Lambre would like. He had a great clear in round 1, of course, but a couple down already. Rattle at fence 9 as well.
Remember, it's going to be seconds added, so as much as they can have a fence down, it can still be okay, but it does create some space there. 47, 44 there for Santiago Lambre, getting into that last fence. As we saw, touch at the Caladay fence, and a good shot down to the last there, as we can see from it. But 47.44 leaves an overall team time of 88.18 for the Trailblazers.
I mean, considering that he had a few fences down, actually his time is not hugely behind Daniel Blumen's. I mean, you know, 7 seconds is still a decent way, but as you say, it's all about the comparison with the other teams.
Yep.
They were extremely close time-wise to the Crusaders as well in round 1.
So Hunter Holloway and Eastern Jam going to come out for the Crusaders, as is Callie Shott, leaving Beezy Madden to come out as the last for the Crusaders team.
Hunter's been on the team every single time so far this year. Really, really key part. 1 down in round 1. She could do with a clear here, or, well, just as fast as she can, and I mean a clear would really help her to keep the time down, of course. She's been selected for the first jump off for 3 legs so far here at Traverse City.
Well, that's gone.
Toronto and Ottawa. The time racking up already.
But that might be a little bit of breather for the Trailblazers as well. You never know. As I say, it's all about comparison against those you're competing against here. Just a little touch at that fence. Good turn back to the Plaston Performance fence here. Oh, it's tight, and she gets it well.
Good angle there.
Yeah. Good run down to the last. It's going to be midway in terms of time, because of course we've got seconds to add as well. 46.34 going to be their time with everything added in for Hunter Holloway and Eastern Jam. I remember we saw that first round of Daniel Blumen down into the low 40s, so that's all achievable there. But pressure goes on Callie Shott now and Teddy Z.
It's interesting that Callie's been chosen here for the first jump off, because she's been in the second jump off for the team at Traverse City, Toronto and Ottawa already. But again, they are in a very, very important place in the overall season standings. So they're in third and they are on 20 points at the moment. Ahead of them is Spyco Spies in the standings on 25, but we know that Spyco Spies are not in the top 4, so potentially
could go up second.
Yeah, Callie could be chosen to get them into the gold medal spot.
She has a fence down as well, but again, till everybody's done and dusted, we're not going to really know how that comes out to it. But 3 seconds to add for Callie, but she's certainly moving on quickly so far. Gets a little bit. Daniel Blumen was so quick and so tight to everything. Really economical. Showed the way there. Callie, though, is giving it absolutely everything at the moment. Gets a very close shot at that, like Hunter Holloway did, and pulls it off. Gets that last few strides focus on the fence. Good run from them, from Callie Shott, and Teddy Z will leave them at a final score of 47.06 and 46.34 from their first for the Crusaders. But again, bowling on down that line, sees the fence down 93.40 as a combined time, so not fast enough for the Crusaders to get ahead of the Trailblazers. So, well, we know both these teams are in danger zone because another 2 teams left to come yet. It is all about what they do. And again, being table C, it's no good backing off and going, okay, I'll go slowly, because that's not how this works.
Exactly. I mean, I think Eye Candy are really hungry for a good performance as well. They've been on the podium once so far. Here in Traverse City, they were just outside the top 4, and I know they were really disappointed not to be in this second round. But they were just so consistent last year and had so many podium finishes. They really do need to just be heading a little bit further up. I mean, they are 4th in the season standings and Crusaders are 3rd, but only 1 point separates them, so they could edge themselves ever higher in the season rankings. Of course, last year's season champions, so they'll certainly be keen to get themselves a good result and see how high up the standings they can get. A little bit of a slower start for them, but they could still keep climbing. They
could still keep climbing from that point of view, yeah. Ooh, a good start. It was a fair rattle at the Cabana Coast as well. Connor Swell in front of us, just watching on to see what happens. Still leaves it there. Little touch again all the time. If a pole falls, that's going to be 3 added to the score. Jacqueline still looking pretty good so far. Crusaders were so daring coming into this Platinum Performance vertical. She's giving it a little bit more space there than they had fences down. Good rhythm so far for Jacqueline into this final run down to the last. Going to take her into about the mid-40s. Good round at 43.37, a little bit quicker than that, in fact, for Jacqueline Steffens, 43.37. Nicely done. Now remember, they need to be up in that top group, and really you're firing a little bit in the dark here. It's not so much about getting, yes, they want to get above Trailblazers at 88.18, but they just want to make sure they're in there for that, and ideally in the number 1 spot. 43.37 for iCandy. Release the world number 4. And he goes off there like a scooter that's in full flight. Engines running fast.
He's got the speed and they've got the scope. Connor Swale is certainly the rider that you might want to bank on to get you into the gold medal jump off, and he's off to a good pace so far. Clear in the first round as well. Only a couple of people have kept all the fences up so far in this second jump off.
Going to be really interesting to see what this time is, because this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Connor Swale, tight as you like up to the fences at this point, up to the Calladay, just leaves a little toe on that.
Oh, what a gallop to the last.
Really good run to the last, but it cost them. So 3 seconds to add there, 44.97. So it would have been, what, 41.97. So a similar sort of ballpark to that of Daniel Blumen, but just loses the shape over the last fence and takes them to 88.34. But it is enough. It is enough to get ahead of Crusaders, but it is not necessarily enough to still be riding for the gold or the silver. So Trailblazers still that bit quicker. That fence making all the difference, because otherwise they would have been, what, 85.34. So they've been guaranteed to be riding for the gold. Nothing is guaranteed at the moment. What is for another team, the Crusaders, that they are going to be battling for bronze. On to Helios, the season champion leaders at the moment. Ashley Bond, Mark Blumen, Carl Cook. Which direction are they going in, where they're putting out Bond and Blumen first? And then finally, Cook is going to hopefully have the right recipe in the final round as well. We will see. But the very fast Ashley Bond and Donatello going here. And again, this is where I say it's different for the strategy, because you'd say, oh, hang on, we know you leave Ashley Bond till last. She's naturally going to be quick. But unless they're playing in the right pond at the end of it, into that final round, there's no point. So get her in now.
Exactly. She knows that she needs to get the team into the second jump off in the gold medal round. She's taking all the angles here. She is really, really going for it. I mean, she was brilliant in the first round, extremely fast from the off, but the team was so strong in round 1 as well. Fence down.
Heavy drop on the back bar there for Ashley Bond and Donatello as they try to take a little off the score, but it's still going to be so fast that it's going to make very little difference. 44.07 for Ashley Bond. But danger zone, because 88.34 from iCandy leaves them in a little bit of position of what about the same score. Yeah, 44.0, so they want to be 23, so what, 27? Yeah, 44.27. I got there myself. And we've matched it up. Well done. There, so 44.27 or better to get into that next round. Good tuck inside.
Mark's been a great competitor for the team, and he's not dropped many poles at all for them this season so far. That, as I say, was with his slightly less experienced horse, Marilyn. Very experienced ride for him to choose here. A little bit of a, well, not quite a stumble, but you could see that the pace was playing a part. He's definitely got a foot to the floor. He knows that 44 is about the time he needs to beat.
It's going to get there if he leaves this up. This is an absolutely storming round. He's not going to leave it up. 41.48, so that's going to take him to 44.48. What do we say? 44.27. Not enough. 85.55. I think that's on the 41.48. We've got to add a little bit more to that from that point of view yet. So let's go. Just get that time confirmed. 41.48 we've got on the scoreboard for them. So we know Crusaders are not going through. We know iCandy are not going through. Trailblazers in their 88.18 from that point of view.
Yeah, we just need the confirmed score.
Looks like it's confirmed. Helios are going through regardless. So looks like that was their score, 41-48. There we go, 85-55. Trailblazers 88-18. Eye Candy 88-34. Crusaders on 93-40. So taking a look at a few of the highlights from that round. Some very good rides from early on. Of course, to the Trailblazers team. Saw in there with Daniel Blumen and Emma Marlett, and of course for the teams now got those confirmed times by the looks of it. Across this arena, we take a look again at the highlights of Team Helios. Super start from them, but unfortunately it was going to be the last fence that cost them on both occasions.
Yeah, great performance from Helios, but unfortunately that one fence down, the final fence from Mark Blumen, just keeps them out of the gold medal jump off. Just waiting for us. Our
there we go. We've got the confirmed score there. There was a little bit of a hiatus in there, but Trailblazers and Eye Candy will go against each other into that gold medal winning round. Helios and Crusaders into the battle for the bronze. So we're going to see Beezy Man in there, Carl Cook, Amy Miller, and of course Emma Marlowe in there for the Trailblazers as well. That's going to be really interesting indeed. And yeah, that's where we get to. So that's the confirmed score. Trailblazers against Eye Candy, Helios against the Crusaders. And so it will be the Crusaders to start us off. And again, you can forget those times now. Put them away. Forget about them. It's about getting qualifying. Now these are the times you have to remember. So the bronze medal is going to be there with Team Helios against the Crusaders. And it's going to be Beezy Man starting us off with the Crusaders with the 8-year-old Homer Zed, and Carl Cook against her with Fessibel. There's a pairing we'd like to see against each other. This is where it gets really interesting.
Absolutely, and this is about as middle of the road as it's got for Team Helios. They've only gone from wins to being right at the bottom of the table, but here they're going for the bronze, so going for third or fourth. But Beezy Madden, first appearance on the team, and now it all rests on her shoulders to determine whether the Crusaders come third or fourth. Crusaders have been both third and fourth in previous runnings. They were fourth previously here at Traverse City, so they're looking to go one better than that here. Crusaders, remember, in the season standings as well, a third on that 20 points, so whether they're third or fourth, they'll get valuable points in the overall rankings. She's really using this horse's big stride, isn't she? Covers the ground so well.
Looks good so far. It's going to be midway in the 40s. A nice run there for BC Madden. And the 8-year-old Hummer said an absolute masterclass to watch. Lovely to see on that younger horse coming through for BC. And of course, always a masterclass to watch her around. Lovely, lovely rider as always, and still one of the very, very best. 45.89 for BC. Now to go and try and beat it is Carl Cook and Fessy Bell. You'd have to say with some of the rounds we've seen so far into the low 40s, he's got a good chance.
100%, definitely got a good chance. Really great clear in the first round. So they have arguably already jumped these fences already, but the pace makes all the difference. Carl jumped at Traverse City before for a double clear, helping them to one of those wins, the second of their third wins. But if they can get third place here, I would think that they'll keep their spot at the top of the season standings. I should think, though, that the points at the top of the leaderboard in the overall season are going to be ever tighter, though, after this competition.
Oh, gets low.
Took a little bit of a hold into the double as well.
Yeah. And now he's got the pressure on him because there is some space in there to get there. 45.89. What is he going to be after he ran in 42.89 or better? That is achievable. He knows that. That's why he's really now putting the pressure on down to the final few fences. He's got no choice but just to really run at this. He's going to be over it in around about the time he needs, but not enough. 46.72. It is there for Team Helios. Reaches out there, just gets low to it, unfortunately, as they try to make the turn. And so it means Crusaders are going to get that third spot. They're going to get the bronze. Helios into fourth place on 46.72 and leaves the gold medal battle of then Eye Candy versus the Trailblazers. Close, close, close. BC Man there with the steady ram, but it paid off for her. And for her, they claim the bronze. The question is, who is going to be at the top of the podium at the end of this? Emma Marlowe versus Amy Miller. Another interesting lineup. Canada versus the USA to determine who will go home the winners from this second stage of Traverse City, and of course the fifth stage of the overall running of Major League show jumping this year. The Olympic riders to go first, Amy Miller and Cristiano. 2 stages completed by them so far. Had 4 faults in that first round. Good so far. Good run into this double. Again, gets it right. She is flying around the corner. Takes a good slice off the Southern Arches, but a little bit of a stumble, but she gets the balance back. Again, gives herself enough room. Nicely done. 1 fence to go for Amy Miller. This could be one of the fastest so far. Could be the low 40s for them and really put the pressure on the last. Amy Miller home in 43.06. That is going to take some beating. As we see from the others previously, they had fences down. They have got lower. Crusaders, what, 45.89. That was a steady round from them. 3 seconds off earlier for Helios. And chance, still a chance for Emma Marlowe of the USA, but has got to take a run at this. At worst they're going to be is going to be second, so it might as well throw caution to the wind and go for it. Emma Marlowe and Cherokee going to be last to go for the Trailblazers to see if they can win their first big victory in Major League show jumping so far this season. They were on the podium in Vancouver. 43.06 is the target. No other option than to take a really fast run at this. We've seen them down to around 41. Oh, and that 3 seconds to add. You have to say it's not going to happen from there. So it's going to go to Eye Candy. I know they've got to get home yet, but with 3 seconds to add, that becomes nigh on. Well, I was going to say impossible, but it is. It's going to be very, very hard indeed. Super round, though, to get Emma into this final showdown for them, though. Again, it gives them their best place of the season so far to go into second place. Touch of the fence there, and as you can see from the time, it was a very, very good effort from Emma Marlowe with the pressure on with Cherokee. 49.58 the final time with 3 seconds added for her. As I say, they'll get their best result of the season now for the Trailblazers into second place. Eye Candy will be your winners here in Traverse City as part of this second running here in Michigan as part of the American Gold Cup meeting. Eye Candy will finish top, Trailblazers second, and also the medals Crusaders in third. Helios, I'm afraid, just off the podium in fourth place in the end. There's the lineup, and we'll see how that changes the championship overall. On her victory gallop for Amy Miller, who brings it home for Team Eye Candy. And a beaming Amy knows they've got some good points on the board. Team Eye Candy were in fourth in the championship coming into this stage, and a chance now to be further up that order yet into that top three. So victory for the Eye Candy squad. Presentation is going to be on its way in just a few moments' time as they get ready for awards and a catch-up with our winning rider. And just watching the round of Amy Miller once again. A little bit of a look there as they edged out to the right side. Good shot through the double, and then really powered to this Southern Arches fence. Good spin back to the Platinum Performance vertical. And then to the last for a really good round for them to get home cleanly. 43.06 Amy Miller and Cristiano bring home the results for the Eye Candy squad. And getting set to then take the interview of our winner.
Best result yet for Team Eye Candy. You must be thrilled with that.
I am very excited. We've been trying hard all season, and we won a lot last season. So thank you, Erica, for keeping believing in us, because we got it done tonight.
You really, really did. And a lot of people feel that, you know, you three as a combination, you've really been so fantastic for the team in 2021, as you say, season champions last year. Is this the way that Team Eye Candy are on the up now for 2022?
We're on the up now, and it's time to play catch up and keep up with these first place for sure.
And just looking at the way that the competition unfolded, you were the one selected for this second jump off, the gold medal jump off. Was that always going to be the strategy?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think we decide based on how our horses are jumping in that competition, and we really thought that we needed Connor to get us to that gold medal match, and so Connor and Jacqueline did that, and then it was my job to finish it off.
And in your team as well, it's a really great combination, isn't it, of quite experienced talent as well as some up-and-coming young riders. Tell us a bit about the team spirit for Team Eye Candy.
Well, we all get along super. Paul and Jacqueline and I spent a lot of time together last season, and Connor joined us at the end. And so tonight, you know, when we were talking about both rounds, we all get together and talk about the course and the strategy and exactly what to do, you know, and Connor was helping me figure out exactly how fast to go, and so it's really fun.
Well, huge congratulations. And what's next for Team Eye Candy? What will you be doing at our next leg?
Well, off to Mexico and hopefully doing some more winning. That's the plan.
Fingers crossed. Congratulations again. Can't wait to see you compete again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And coming in for the team into third place there for the Crusaders, they walk in with BC Madden and with Hunter Holloway and Callie Schott in third. Heading up to the podium. Some beautiful ribbons that go with the class. And walking in behind will be the team for second, the Trailblazers of Daniel Blumen, Santiago Lamre and Emma Marlowe. So they take their position in second spot. And walking in, the winning team, congratulations to the Eye Candy squad of Connor Swale, of Jacqueline Stephens, and of course of Amy Miller, riding to victory. Now walking forward for the podium. Getting back to winning ways for the Eye Candy team. And ready to step up to the podium. Top three in third for the Crusaders. Hunter, Callie and Beezy. And joined by Trevor Tkach from the Traverse City Tourism group. That's again, of course, the local area here. Cian White and Matt Morrissey, co-founders of Major League Show Jumping. And in second, Trailblazers with Daniel Blumen, Santiago Lamre and Emma Marlowe. And for the winning pair, it is the Eye Candy team, because we saw them to so many wins here last year as well as part of the first season of Major League Show Jumping, back to the top of the podium. And in the #1 spot, little help there, for Amy Miller getting on up there. Of course, she rode that running round. Connor Swale and Jacqueline Stephens-Daly, a full team effort to be #1. Top 3 teams here from Traverse City from this now 5th completed stage of Major League Show Jumping. Flowers aloft. Sunflower season now in Traverse City as well. And flowers aloft for the leading teams. And time for a little celebration. Flowers away. Champagne in. Locked and loaded and ready to go. Run. Too slow for the leading team. Good spray, of course, Michigan producing its own sparkling wines as well. Cheers. Eye Candy finishing top. Little swig of that for the winning team. And we'll see how that affects the team standings as well in just a few moments' time with that victory for Eye Candy. Connor Swale getting back in the saddle and ready for off and running. Jacqueline Stephens looking for the irons. And all set for their victory gallop for the top team. Congratulations to them. Super horses as well. Cat Ninja, Theo 160 and Cristiano, and on board Jacqueline Stephens-Daly, Connor Swale and Amy Miller, collectively known as our winners here, Team Eye Candy. Connor Swale giving the directions. Aiming to go as a collective. And here's how the standings sit after this stage. Helios on 37. Eye Candy just trying to close up the ground as well on 29 in second. Spyco Spies moving into that third spot on 27. Crusaders just 1 point behind in fourth. Northern Lights at the bottom on In fact, it's Lugano on the bottom on 17, Northern Lights on 18, Roadrunners in 6th place, Trailblazers on the 21 there, but still leaves Team Helios at the top. So Lugano with ground to make up, as we'll think about the next stage coming up for the Major League Jumping Tour in San Miguel de Allende to Atomi will be the next of the stages. Eye Candy closing in, Spyco Spies in 3rd.